Of course, when people visit amusement parks, they look for things like atmosphere, theming, food, shows, all sorts of stuff. But let's keep it real. Most people, including enthusiasts like us, go to parks mainly for the roller coasters. So we're going to go over the top 10 1-2 punches in the amusement park industry. Now, a little disclaimer here. We haven't been to every single park, but we've been to most of these on the list. And the ones that we haven't been to, we're just kind of going by what we know about the coasters and what we hear about, like reviews. And I mean, some of the stuff is pretty obvious, but we're going to go 10 through 1 and let us know in the comment section for this video whether you agree or disagree with this. Starting off at number 10, we are going over to Japan to Nagashima Spa Land.
Yeah, and their top two are the Morgan Giga Coaster Steel Dragon 2000 and Hakuge, which is considered by many one of the best RMCs in the entire world. So we haven't actually been to Nagashima Spa Land, but from what we hear, everyone loves Hakuge. People talk about how good of an airtime it has, and anytime that you have a combo of one of the best RMCs and a Giga Coaster, granted it is considered by most people one of the weaker ones, it's still a solid coaster, and it's still a Giga Coaster, and that's still a very impressive 1-2 punch for that park.
Now coming into number 9, we are going out to Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. Now, I think you can kind of argue about what their top 2 is, but we're going to go with X2 and Twisted Colossus. I'm sure some people might put like Tatsu in there.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that Tatsu is either their favorite or second favorite at that park. Personally, our 2 favorites are X2 and Twisted Colossus at that park, so we are going to use those 2 coasters to talk about their 1-2 punch, but you could use quite a few different ones.
Moving on to number 8, a park that we have not visited yet, but we hope to make it next summer. Ace is having CoasterCon there, so hoping to make it to Six Flags New England. They have 2 coasters that are definitely worthy to be on this list. They have Wicked Cyclone and
Superman the Ride, yes. People have always talked about those 2 coasters. It is a very, very good 1-2 punch. Unfortunately, I did hear that Superman, the new restraints that they got a couple years ago really kill like the airtime, and they kind of hurt a bit, so that ride isn't quite as good as it used to be, but it's still a very good ride. From what I've heard, it's definitely better than the Ride of Steel clones at Six Flags America and Darien Lake. And then Wicked Cyclone is a very small RMC, but people say it has incredible airtime. It's a pretty long ride. And
but you're a fan of smaller RMCs because like Storm Chaser down at Kentucky Kingdom, you're a huge fan of that.
Oh yeah, I mean smaller RMCs usually have the better airtime and are more compact and more aggressive sometimes. So I'm a big fan of them.
Now coming in at number 7, we're going to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hersheypark, where they have Sky Rush and Wildcat's Revenge, an RMC and an Intamin hyper coaster. And obviously Sky Rush is like probably one of the most intense coasters that you can possibly ride. Mm-hmm. Wildcat's Revenge, we finally got on it after like missing it a couple times at the park. Wildcat's Revenge, one of the better RMCs that we've been on.
Definitely.
So a great 1-2 punch. Now to number 6. I'm going to defer to you because you have been to this park and I haven't, so take it over.
Yeah, this is Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas. My 2 favorite coasters there were Wonder Woman, Golden Lasso, and Iron Rattler. Both of them RMCs, so that's always a good thing because I don't think there's any bad RMC rides. But one of them, just a classic RMC, the other, a single rail coaster. I was extremely impressed with both of them, especially Iron Rattler. Iron Rattler is definitely one of my favorite coasters like of all time, I think. The dive off the quarry was super good. It has great airtime. It's very pretty just diving up and down off of the quarry. And then Wonder Woman Golden Lasso is extremely intense. The only other single rails that we rode was Jersey Devil and then Wonder Woman at Magic Mountain. Both of those 2 are clones of each other and definitely not nearly as good or intense as Golden Lasso is at Fiesta Texas.
Now, before we get into our top 5, we're going to give an honorable mention down to Universal Studios Orlando. Now, we are unsure whether we should link those all as one park, but they're not one park. They're all separate parks. But you go down there, And you have Stardust Racers, you have Velocicoaster, and then, of course, Rip Ride Rocket was torn out, and they're building a brand new Intamin Mystery Coaster. So you're going to have Islands, Universal, and Epic Universe with amazing coasters in each one. So I just thought that we would throw that in as an honorable mention, because we're like, should we add that and just say the banner of Universal Studios? But we decided
they are separate parks.
They're separate parks.
Yeah.
Now on to number 5. We're going over to Germany, Phantasialand, where they have F.L.Y. and Terran. You have a Vekoma new gen flying coaster and an Intamin multi-launch Terra coaster, whatever they want to call it right now.
Yeah, both of these rides, we have not been to Phantasialand yet, but from what we have seen, both of these rides look absolutely incredible. Of course, the theming is, what Phantasialand is known for, and the 2 areas that those rides are in are super cool. But either way, we've heard nothing but good things about both of those rides. Terran, it's very interesting how it really doesn't go that high up, but there's a lot of near misses, and it's kind of similar to the first half of Velocicoaster, which we have ridden. And then F.L.Y., I know you're not the biggest fan of flying coasters, but you said
I would do that, and I would enjoy that flying coaster.
Yeah, because it stays low to the ground, which you like because you're afraid of height.
Yes.
And it's just a very cool, interesting concept, because Vekoma does those flying coasters differently than like B&M has done. So definitely one of the top bucket list coasters and 1-2 punches for us.
But anyway, into this top 5 at number 4, Canada's Wonderland. Now, Alpen Fury, we were up at the border, ready to go across and ride Alpen Fury, and issue with the passport, so couldn't get into Canada. So we have not ridden Alpen Fury despite our plans to ride it, but everything that we hear, amazing. It has just great reviews. Left and right, people are saying that it's comparable to some of the top coasters in the country and in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that whatsoever.
Yeah, and that park didn't really have a top coaster, because I've been there twice, and they always had good coasters, but never an elite coaster. They really got that now with Alpen Fury. And then for that 1-2 punch, personally, my favorite coaster there was Leviathan. So I would say that their 1-2 punch would be Alpen Fury and Leviathan, and an elite multi-launch coaster, and then a very solid B&M Giga coaster is definitely an impressive top 2.
Now number 3, we're going to King's Dominion. Speaking of Giga coasters, I-305, Project 305, Pantherion, whatever you want to call it, it is one of the best Giga coasters. To a lot of people, the best Giga coaster in the world, one of the most intense coasters, and definitely between that and Twisted Timbers, which is an amazing RMC. I'm seeing a lot of RMCs on this list.
Yeah, there's a ton of RMCs.
But between those two, I don't think you can really go wrong. Twisted Timbers, just crazy ejector airtime. I remember the first time we rode it in 2018, right after it opened. I just remember
second RMC.
That was our second RMC, right? Yes. Yeah. I just remember my thighs just hurting from the crazy ejector airtime. Great ride.
And then we rode it again earlier this year, right? And it was even better than I remembered it.
Yeah, it's an amazing ride. And then I-305, Pantherion, whatever, we did not get to ride it this year, but we've ridden it a couple other times in past visits. And we've always ridden it either in the rain or when we weren't feeling well. And it was still a great coaster. So I can only imagine how good it is if we went on an 80-degree day when we were both feeling well.
Yeah.
Probably be amazing. And speaking of amazing, our top 2 are definitely going to be amazing parks with amazing rides. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and joining. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. Like, comment down below like I told you guys to earlier about whether you agree with this list or whatever. And of course, a huge shout out to all our channel members. Thank you guys so much. They get things like exclusive videos, pictures, and of course, shout outs, and they help out our channel so much. So thank you to all our channel members. Appreciate you guys greatly. Now going over to Poland to EnergyLandia.
Yeah, which is probably the fastest rising park in the entire world. And their top 2 are 2 of probably the best coasters in the entire world Zadra, and Hyperion. Hyperion is a giant, like 250-foot intimate hypercoaster with crazy airtime. Again, that's not a park that we've been to yet, but going off of what we heard, Hyperion is absolutely elite and super intense and relentless. And then Zadra, which is one of 3 RMC hyper hybrid coasters in the world, which I also heard that is extremely intense. Just kind of similar to Iron Gwazi, where it just doesn't let up, and it's just crazy from start to finish, fast transitions, and not many parks have 2 of probably top 15 coasters in the entire world at the same park, but EnergyLandia does.
Yeah, amazing. Definitely one of our bucket lists, and definitely has to be one of your bucket lists if you have not made it out there yet. Now, number 1, I don't think we're being biased here. Our home park, Cedar Point, and I think the thing that makes it so it has to be number 1 is because you really can't even fully decide what their 1-2 punch is.
I think the reason we thought this would be number 1 is because I think you can ask a lot of different people that go to Cedar Point and have visited Cedar Point and ask them what's your 2 favorite coasters there, and I'm sure a lot of people would say Steel Vengeance is their favorite, but then after that, it's kind of up in the air. Some people will say Maverick, some people will say Top Thrill 2. There's probably some people that say Millennium, even Siren's Curse.
Siren's Curse nowadays, yep.
So
now
many,
that's open this year.
Yeah, and not only are there a lot of really good options, each one of those coasters is one of the best. Like, personally, Top Thrill 2 for me is like a top 10 coaster I've ridden. So they have 2 coasters. My 2 favorite coasters there are in my top 10 favorite coasters that I've ever ridden.
Yeah, if you're a coaster enthusiast and you visit Cedar Point, you will not be disappointed. So I don't think there's any way that we could choose another park other than Cedar Point to be number 1 on this list for the 1-2 punches. But anyway, that concludes this video. I already told you guys earlier. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for coming and joining us for this video. Always appreciate it. You guys could be doing anything in the world. You guys could be out playing soccer right now. But no, you're here watching us talk about roller coasters. So appreciate it greatly. And we'll see you guys next time right here on
Beach Cliff Studios.
See you guys.